I also thought the pass protection was better than I expected. It wasn't perfect. Morgan Moses had kind of a rough game, but he's going up against Max Crosby. Crosby
Right.
didn't feel like took over the game. He had big moments. Didn't feel like he totally took over the game. Will Campbell, because he was a high draft pick, was always going to get picked apart. The penalties were bad. 2 false starts, both came at inopportune times. You can't have those. And he did have a little bit of a penalty problem, false start problem last year in college. Didn't his first 2 years. So that's certainly something to monitor. And that pattern that we saw this summer of he would be good for extended stretches, right? We talk about, okay, he allowed 3 pressures in this entire practice. Okay, but they all came in the span of 5 plays. And it would kind of snowball a little bit before he could get his feet back under him. You saw that with the strip sack and then the false start late in the game there. So that's something he needs to work on. As for the 2 sacks that are kind of being tied to him, I don't put him chiefly at fault for either one. So the first one, he's blocking Tyree Wilson. Drake May gets pressured from the other side, steps up in the pocket, probably climbs a little too far. Tyree Wilson simply disengages with Will Campbell, turns to his left. Drake May's right there. He sacks him. Do you want Will Campbell to maybe be a little more resistant in that situation? Yeah, that's going to come in time with chemistry when he learns how Drake May navigates the pocket. Talked to David Andrews a little bit about this today. We'll have more. That podcast will be out tonight. But some of that is just pocket awareness and knowing where your blockers are, the blockers knowing where the quarterback is. That wasn't a case of Andrews getting technically beat. It's a nice heads-up play by Wilson. The other one is a little tougher to say because we don't know the play call. And this is the strip sack for Malcolm Kuntz that puts him in a bad spot, puts him in a 2nd and 18. So if you go back and watch that play, Campbell and Stevenson both meet Kuntz at the spot. Stevenson gives him a little bit of an elbow and keeps going. If it's supposed to be a chip or it's supposed to be help, it's not enough from Stevenson. It's not a check and release. He doesn't check and release. He doesn't chip. He just kind of gives him a shove. If it's, okay, I'm running out my route. Oh, there's a pass rusher here. I'm just going to throw a little something to help out. And sometimes guys will do that even if it's not in the design. Then, yeah, he threw a little something, and that's on Campbell. But you look at how they were giving Campbell help at sometimes in the game and just how McDaniels has called this in the past, and you look at the way Campbell sets for it, it looks like he's expecting help. So we ultimately don't know the play. My best guess is you're looking for more there from Ramondre Stevenson in terms of help. They both got beat, but you're probably looking more from Ramondre Stevenson there in terms of help, and that results in the strip sack. So big picture, the penalties need to be cleaned up. As a blocker, I think if that's more or less what you get from Will Campbell week in and week out, he justifies the pick. You have a starting caliber left tackle. It was 2 weird plays that he allowed the sacks on, and besides that, he was solid.
I'm glad you brought up that first sack, but I don't put that on Campbell at all. The pressure was up the middle from Crosby. I think on Owenu.
I think he kind of like
Jared Wilson.
He kind of like splits Jared Wilson and Bradbury a little bit. Yeah, it was. It's a good play by Crosby.
Crosby beat Wilson and Bradbury clean up the middle there.
Yeah, Jared Wilson was not as good if we're talking about rookie line.
Wilson had a bad game overall. Yeah, but Crosby splits him and Bradbury up the middle. Drake May steps into the sack. I don't put that on Campbell at all. The strip sack, like I'm glad you brought up the expecting help part of it, because I looked at that play at first. I was like, "Oh, Campbell wasn't set there. He couldn't set his feet. So he wasn't really ready for the block there." But then I rewatched it after you said, "Oh, Stevenson didn't give him enough there," and Campbell is sort of set as if he's expecting help to his left. That's what it looked like.
Where Stevenson is.
It looked like he was getting into his stance, expecting that he was going to have Stevenson helping him there on the left side, and Stevenson didn't give him nearly enough. He gave him what you said, like just the little shoulder, and I'm going out for my route. And it was a useless route because of Drake May fumbled it by the time Stevenson even started into his route there. So I don't know if that was a miscommunication, if Stevenson thought he was supposed to go out for the route, but he was really supposed to just stay back and block. It felt like the guys weren't on the same page there, but I'm going to put it on the 5th-year player who has played in the Josh McDaniels system before over the rookie starting his first game. I don't put either of those sacks on Will Campbell, not entirely anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that second one, I think he probably could have been more competitive a little bit, but again, without knowing the play call, just having watched this offense for and going off what David Andrews said.
I'll give him a half a sack between the 2 sacks.
I'll give him one half. I think that's fair. And again,
half him, half of Stevenson, and the other one goes to Wilson and Bradbury.
And again, 6 o'clock tonight, Sports Hub YouTube channel, Patriots Hub podcast. David Andrews breaks it down better. I trust his thoughts on the offense a lot more than I trust either of ours, frankly.
Oh no, did he agree or disagree?
No, he said based on what he knows about the offense, it was probably should have been more help there.
Okay,
not to spoil the pod. We get more into it, but
we're on the same page with Super Bowl winning center David Andrews.
I'll kind of take the benefit of it. I'll take his knowledge there.
I was gonna say if he was saying the opposite of what we were, I will stop talking.
Trust me, I would have opened with that.
Yeah.
The bigger concern for the offensive line too. So I opened up saying the pass blocking better than I thought. Not perfect, better than I thought. The run blocking much worse than I thought. I thought this was going to be a strength of this team. They struggled to run the ball. They had only one run of more than 10 yards, and it was credit to Josh McDaniels. Really fun, cool, innovative play design. They show the tush push on 3rd and 1, pop Travion Henderson around the edge. Drake made a quick little handoff. That was one of my favorite play calls of the game. After that, Henderson had a 7-yard run on his first carry in which he broke a tackle. Ramondre Stevenson's longest run was 6 yards. I actually posted it on my social media. They used Mac Hollins as a fullback out of the shotgun, which is kind of an interesting look. They then try to build a pass play off of it, which didn't work, but they drew a pass interference on a 4th and short, but that's a whole other thing. Outside of those, they really could not run the ball. And look, as much as we talk about Drake May's game, the biggest problem with their pass game on Sunday was that they threw the ball 46 times. This team cannot throw the ball 46 times and win. They're not built for that. They can't do it. They had to, and that's where a lot of these, not right now. They had to, and that's where a lot of these short passes come from. It's Josh McDaniels trying to supplement the run with the quick pass game or replace the run with the quick pass game because they couldn't run the ball. Whether you want to credit them for going away from it, not banging their head against the wall, or you want to say, no, they should have tried harder to establish it, we can debate that. They're not going to win games if they can't run the ball like that. They've got to be better. The 2 rookies struggled. I thought there was some trouble up the middle as well. They didn't even really get runs to the second level. It wasn't linebackers crashing down and making the stop. It was defensive linemen winning at the point of attack. They have to be better running the football.
I was kind of surprised that Bradbury wasn't getting as much of a push as I thought he would. Owenu, those guys I thought would be better in run blocking than pass protection. But it was kind of the opposite of what we were expecting going into the game. Sorry, my chair is breaking on me here.
Hey, you're good.
But yeah, you know what? I thought they could have kept trying to run the ball. I know once they got down multiple scores, now you got to throw. But I feel like they kind of abandoned it relatively quickly. I think they could have tried different run plays. Going back to the film, I'm going to have to double check the stats here, but I'm not sure they ran it toward Will Campbell that much. I feel like they tried to bang their heads against the wall. I can actually find that
if you give me a second.
I think much of the trouble they had running the ball, and we'll see if the stats bear this out, but it felt like they had trouble running it between the tackles. It felt like that was the issue, and they didn't really have much of an answer in terms of running it around the left edge more. And you know what play I point to is classic. Anyone who's listened to me knows I hate the backward pitch on 3rd and 1, and this is another that's how you know Josh McDaniels is back. He throws the ball 6 yards backwards on 3rd and 1. But on that play, if you go back and watch it, Stevenson could have probably followed Will Campbell around the left edge and would have had a chance to get to the sticks, I think. But he tries to cut back toward the interior, and I get it. It looked like there might have been a little bit of an opening there, but the tackler sheds his block and brings him down. And so, yeah, I didn't think that they tried to run the ball as much as they should have. I thought they tried to run it up the middle, and then that wasn't working, and so they kind of got away from it. And there were also times where I thought the ball carrier could have run toward in Will Campbell's direction a little more than they did. So I don't know. Were you able to find it? I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but it felt like the problems with run blocking were more up the middle than they were on the edge.
I think the numbers bear that out. There's a couple things I've been trying to pull up here to try to get the most complete picture. Here we go. Okay, so the way we're
pulling up Pro Football Focus.
We're going to use internet here. We're going to use 2. So the NFL's internal statistics service. They break it down: right end, right tackle, right guard, truly up the middle, off left guard, off left tackle, left end. So
Oh, so there you go. I'm vindicated on this, right?
I think so. So they had one rush off right end. They gained 1 yard. They did not run behind the right tackle or the right guard, according to this. Up the middle, 2 carries, 4 yards. Up the off left guard, 4 carries, 8 yards. It doesn't give the total yardage. I'm doing the math in my head here. I can't for this one. Off left tackle, 5 carries, 2.6 yards per. And then all the way to the outside to the left, 6 carries, 5.7 yards per. But that includes that trick play to Travion Henderson.
But it's really that left end, because I'm talking about Will Campbell getting out into space and running toward toward the sideline kind of as a run blocker. Like, they didn't try enough plays like that, I don't think. I think they could have done more, in that, trying that kind of play.
So I was able to find it for, here we go. This is for the team. So this has the Patriots off left tackle, 1 carry for 3 yards. Off left end, 8 carries for 44 yards. But again, that includes the Henderson one. Stevenson, off left tackle, 1 carry for 3 yards. 2 for 8 off left end.
Okay, I think I'm still vindicated. I think they could have run it more to the left edge there.
Well,
Will Campbell going out into space on the left.
Well,
side.
they didn't run it to the right at all. But no, I think that they could have gone more outside and less up. Is what you're saying? They could have gone more outside and less up the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
saying. Yeah. I thought you said they did. I'm like, no, they ran more to the left than the right. Yes, they could have. They also probably could have run to the right. That feels a little predictable that they called one. Does PFF agree with that? PFF has them, with 1 run to the right side. That's Morgan Moses and Mike Onwenu. That's the side you should be running behind.
Right.
That's weird. I hadn't even seen that until I just pulled that up.
That's your experience.
I don't know why they wouldn't running away from Max Crosby, I guess. So that's something. All right, let me ask you this. Real or fake, the Patriots will run more to the left than the right this year. Was that a fluke week 1 thing, or was that real?
I think they're going to look at the tape and say, we got to use Campbell in space as a run blocker more. So I'd say they're going to run to the left more going forward.
I think it might have been a little fake. I wonder if they were just not running towards Max Crosby. But we'll see. We'll see next week.
I'm not quite following on the real versus fake. I'm just saying I think they got to run toward the left end more than they did.
So I guess what I'm saying, real versus fake, for the season, will the Patriots heavily skew their run game to the left side like they did yesterday? Or regardless of how often they run, right? Just the ratio of runs to the left versus runs to the right. Will it be heavily skewed to the left side, or will there be more balance than running left and running right?
I don't know. I gotta look at the schedule with that.
That's fair.
Okay. They're gonna game plan according, because what if the Max Crosby of the next opponent is on the other side? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But if we're looking at it just in terms of their personnel, Will Campbell should be utilized as a run blocker. That's the point I'm making here. I don't think they utilized him enough as a run blocker. And the running backs are part of that. Stevenson, cutting back inside instead of following Campbell on that 3rd and 1 play stands out to me.
No, they definitely tried to hammer it more up the middle and weren't able to do that.